Okay, hello there everyone, and welcome to another episode of TEPS Sanctum of Stability. Um, let's see here, I believe last you guys had gone back to rest, right?
Rest, talk with the Moth Prince,
Yeah,
and figure out what we're doing next.
we had a lot of role play last session, so
Yes. I believe you guys got most of the answers. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover before getting back into the scene of, the evening with you guys trying to sneak into the Feywild, or whatever your plan will be?
yeah, that does pose a question. We do have other options. I've been thinking about it for the last 2 weeks or so. We have the options of going to the Sanctum of Stability and asking around there. Do you two want to go in the primary door that we have open, or do you want to go somewhere else? Because we have contacts. There are even contacts outside of the Sanctum of Stability we can use.
It may be a good idea to ask if there's a access route to that at the Sanctum. Give us less opportunity of going into a watched door.
Yeah, and that is something I've thought of as well. We can go a different route entirely. And seeing as these are a hive mind type, if we're seen going in the doorway, we will be known going in the doorway by all of them, because I guarantee you that's going to be close enough for them to be able to tell.
Mm-hmm.
So we might have a horde of them immediately surrounding us in no time. So we can go in that way, but we have to be stealthy. So my recommendation is, if we do that, we bring someone else in who's going to help us be stealthier. So we might want to contact my brother. If we go in the other direction, we might want to go and poke one of our contacts, because I have several. We can poke and talk to the hags, which might be able to help us with that, potentially. We have the Lord of Silverlight, which I realized out of character at some point, and I assume that Azeroth has probably made that connection as well. The Lord of Silverlight is probably having to do with the moon phases.
What? No.
And that we might be able to talk to him about it.
Where did you get a crazy idea like that from?
I actually just thought about it, and considering the name, I put 2 and 2 together from my knowledge, without being told anything about that.
Well, I mean, it's not like the Golden Fleece, are attached to the lunar cycle in any way.
No. See, and I really haven't noticed that either, but... So, with that in mind, we can go there. We also have Balthazar that we can go to. And we can actually talk to him and say, hey, do we have something in the Sanctum of Stability that can get us to the Feywild? This is important for our current mission, and I'm sure he'll be able to help us. It just depends on if he has to do paperwork on our behalf or not, because this isn't given the go by the Sanctum.
Right.
Yeah, let's find a back door.
So you guys are going rogue. We're finding a back door again.
I mean, would you really want to pull your brother into this?
Not really, no.
Yeah. I mean, it is a good card to have in the deck, but yeah, I think going and seeing what we can access from the Sanctum is probably our safest way.
Yep.
And we can return these headsets too, because they're no use to us right now.
They could be useful to us. It just depends on how we use them. If we're using them offensively, then we can, possibly utilize them. But at this point, I think, yeah, you might be right. It might be a good idea to return them before they're damaged or otherwise.
Yep. Before leaving, I kind of want to check through that secret room and see if there's anything of this iron that we may be able to use.
There's a couple of locked chests, but you can't find anything with cold iron there.
Okay.
So the question is, at this point, where do you two want to go? Because if I were to pick a place, I have an idea, but I want to know what your two ideas are. You might come up with something better than mine. So I've been thinking about this for a while. We're going to say that we've probably gone our separate ways, done a little bit of research for just a little bit here. And either this has been a short rest at this point or a long rest, depending on how you wanted to run it. But we were going to go at the lake at nighttime, so that would be probably where we would either reconvene and decide to go somewhere else or otherwise.
Yeah, I feel like coming in from a third place gives us the element of surprise, even if it is just for a moment or two.
Yeah.
That's a moment or two where Drone 1 and Drone 2 can't get back to Hive Mind and say they're coming.
Yeah, it's. I think we should see what contacts we have in the Sanctum, and see if we can find a back road into this place.
So you guys gonna try to go back to the Sanctum?
Yeah.
Yep.
Are we going to go to the trio of hags as well? Then again, I could technically do that later. Considering we were already deciding to go somewhere, I think I'll do that later.
Yeah. Now we've got to decide when we want to go back to the Dart Viper. And the boat.
Yeah, at least we know who they are at this point and know how to approach that area of lots of poisonous, deadly things.
I'm friends with them, man. We're one.
Yeah, no, I understand, but I still don't want to walk over there when they don't realize who I might be. It's not that I think they're going to be a problem. It's that I think me walking over there and not announcing myself well enough and them not understanding well enough that ends up being what causes the problem.
Yeah. They probably remember our grandparents, Calder.
Possibly. I mean, we talked to the old one.
Yep.
I wasn't said anything. Wasn't noticed, so.
Yep. So when do you want to head over there? Like, what time of the day is it right now, GM?
It's starting to get dark. The sun's starting to go down. You guys are reconvening a little bit beforehand so you guys could get your plan set up.
I take it we probably had a nap or something along those lines, possibly. So
Yeah, I'd count it as a long rest. You guys
Okay.
didn't do anything too overly exorbitant earlier in the day, so
Okay.
I consider it a good reset point.
So, do you guys want to head out that way now, or?
Yeah, that might be best. Or alternatively, we can ask Balthazar before we leave if he's awake.
Yeah, couldn't hurt to ask him. You have the book, right?
At least I should.
Okay.
Okay, so what are you going to write to Balthazar?
Depends on if we want to do anything specific. I don't know if there's limited space on this book or if it's just basically as much as I want. As long as I don't go overboard with it.
As long as you don't go overboard and as long as you don't overuse it, technically.
Yeah. I'm going to write a sentence on the page of need to get to Feywild. Any contacts? Thinking about coming back to SOS.
It takes him a few moments, but he responds, I might have a contact that's available. Where are you trying to go?
This would be the primary court, right?
To the court of the Raven Queen, yes.
Yeah.
My Raven Queen, which is got a lovely, lovely place.
I would do court RQ. I don't see a reason why he can't know. He doesn't know why we're going that way.
It takes him a few more moments, and he responds with, I'll meet you at the gateway in the Sanctum with our contact that's currently active.
All right. I will go ahead and just write a heart emoji as a response. All right. We can go back to the. I think that's going to be our best bet.
Yep.
I didn't know if that was going to go any other way, so.
So you guys are going to go back to the ship?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. When you guys...
I am going...
Go ahead.
I'm going to go find Scamp, take him out of his power suit, and tell him he's going to come with us and try to stay a little ahead. And if he notices anything, give us some type of a warning.
Okay. So that means we will have to do a roll for Scamp. What I want for Scamp is going to be a flat 2d10.
Okay. Alright, 7. 2 7s.
Nice. Scamp seems to sit here and navigate you around a few wild creatures, a few patrolling groups of people here and there. you guys do hear a little skirmish off in the woods, and it seems to get resolved fairly quick. But you guys reach the ship, and you find the old lady sitting there, seeming to tend to her little garden of poisonous plants and mushrooms. And she just looks over at you all and goes, "Oh, well, this evening has been eventful, and to see you guys here, it's very nice. What might
Here
I
to help as much as we can. Go ahead, if you will, Victor, if you want to take control of that, since you know this person more.
Well, we are hoping to use the portal because we have a back door into where we need to be going that we can access. We need to cross the border the other way, and the ways we know are being watched.
And you need to go up on the ship, I see. Well, come with me. My children should leave you be if you're walking with me.
Thank you.
She starts walking you through the nest of dart vipers. Some of them seeming to pay attention to you, and some of them seeming not to care much.
You said that today's been interesting. Has anything happened here of note?
Earlier today, I finally saw a friend I haven't seen in a while. Tarragon came to talk, and we caught up a little bit on what's been going on. We had a bit of tea.
Oh, nice.
Very lovely lady. I've missed her company.
So an unexpected visit of a friend. Those are always nice.
Yes, especially when you've known the friend for so long. So, she leads you up the steps, and it seems to take you through the galley of the ship to the deck. And there you find the captain quarters with the door, and she's like, "So, I hear you guys have perhaps gotten some answers from Miss Tarragon and time?" It's interesting. A lot of people who go to them usually try to talk to Rosemary. They usually always want the future.
Future changes too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
smart.
the past is what it. Sometimes you have to know what was and what is, because the future, it's too many ripples all at once.
I'm glad that they sent you guys to help out. Too often have I had to deal with brutes that didn't understand that. They always were more concerned about their own future than trying to piece everything together. I think you guys will go far.
This trip has been eye-opening.
I bet it has.
Intensely so.
I've learned more about my past than I ever thought was there.
I think each of you have more in your past than you would be aware of. But
I'm distinctly aware of a lot of mine.
I think each one of you will find with time that there is more to you than meets the eye, but that's something that will come with time.
Well, we get this all over with. I may have to come back for a spot of tea.
I'll try to use the non-poisonous ones. Tarragon likes a little bit of bite.
He just kind of laughs.
So, whatever you guys are doing, I hope you guys can resolve this conflict It seems Tarragon had found out more about what's actually been going on here than we knew previously.
What did she tell you?
That you've met Florence.
Yeah,
Lawrence.
we have
Yes.
the moth.
Ah, yeah.
Very
His
well.
brother as well.
Yes, that one I've been less keen on, even when he was a child, so... He was
Interesting that you know them, though.
I mean, of course. They on the other side of the Feywild, technically on the other parts of this realm, so... I knew their father. We had a mutual understanding that there would be no conflicts and conquests onto the plane.
Remember what I said about them probably knowing our grandfathers?
Yeah. I think you were right on that one.
Yeah. Well, me and my kin have been around a lot longer than most people would know. Some of us change our appearances every so often, and some of us just have grown accustomed to who we parade
And
as.
some of you prayed as elves in a library.
Elves in a library.
Archimedes.
Oh, my little brother's the librarian. That's good. He's been hiding as an elf in a library. Oh.
How did you not know that? He's been my mentor.
I thought perhaps he was in a different state or whatnot, but as an elf? Seriously?
Seriously.
He's been using that same disguise for so long. He does know that after a while elves die, right?
He's currently going through his crazy old-timer arc.
Oh. Hopefully he realizes that that's going to have to end soon.
Well, I hate to cut and run, but we really need to get through the portal.
You guys have a lovely time, and if you guys need anything, just hop on by. Make sure you announce yourselves so I can try to make sure
Of course.
the children don't get too rambunctious.
Yeah, they pack some punch.
Yes. The bigger ones are far worse. Trust me. The venom's more potent. Well, you guys have a lovely day.
You as well. Oh,
Thank you.
very likely see you again.
Oh, I do hope so. I hope to hear some good news about this entire ordeal.
Yeah, me
I
too.
only hope.
Now, as you guys go through the portal, you see Balthazar standing there. And you hear an odd noise off to the side. Takes a couple of moments for most of you to realize the sound. Azeroth, you pick it up right away. It's a man shuffling cards.
Oh,
As your
my
eyes
fur stands on end.
and as you meet this individual, you see what looks to be young Fae standing there and just looking amongst you all. His clothes seem to be rather elegant, and he has black feathered wings. And he just looks over you all and is like, "Is this the group, Balthazar? Interesting."
Let's say I
Yes.
take it I don't recognize this person, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
Never
you
know
do
when
not.
a debtor might come after me.
You do not know who this person is. But he stops shuffling his cards and slides them up a sleeve, and it's like, "So, You're the group that Balthazar says needs to get in to see the Raven Queen.
Yeah. That we
Yes.
do.
Well, I might have personal access to get you there. Balthazar said you were looking into something. Wouldn't give me any details. What kind of importance is this to speak to the Raven Queen?
Fairly quick. Next couple of days, sooner the better. More likely people die the longer we wait.
What's the nature of this transaction I'm going to be orchestrating for you?
I look over towards Balthazar and go, do you want to hear anything based off of the mission, or do you want to remain ignorant?
Balthazar just kind of looks around and is like, I'm already doing things outside of Sanctum territory, so I don't really mind either way. On top
I just want to make sure.
On top of it, apparently the higher-ups have been told to give me anything that I request for current operations. Apparently somebody in which they communicate with has okayed it and told them not to argue with it.
I wonder if that's mutual contact.
I have a feeling it is. Because some paperwork has apparently been swept under the carpet for me.
Always looped up in paperwork. Now, to answer your question.
Yes.
We have a incursion occurring.
He looks around for a second and he's like, incursion? On the material plane?
Yes. What was the name of the brother? I don't remember. I remember Florence, but I don't remember the other brother. I notated it, I'm sure.
I've got it somewhere too, but I do not have that document up, it appears. Give me a second.
There's also an issue of succession in the court of the Raven Queen.
Julian,
thank you.
Julian is sitting on a seat that he does not deserve.
Julian's the one who's causing the incursion.
The Moth Brothers, I see.
Mm-hmm. I pull out the card and kind of move it around a little bit to show him, and then slip it back into his sleeve.
And what card is that?
That would be the card that has the doppelganger in it. The mind reaver.
Catches it. Oh yeah, you see his eyes kind of widen a little bit as his eyebrows raise, and he's like, interesting. Most interesting. I'll have to keep an eye on you.
We hope to stop the incursion as quickly as possible.
You see him pull out a old-looking journal wrapped in what looks like a very thick leaf. And he starts to open it and look through, seeming to be thumbing through pages of notes. And he's like, yes, there is no incursion that's okayed currently. So this would technically be a transgression of war. As far as I can tell, this is also a transgression on handing down rights. So this could be most interesting. But as far as I know, the Raven Queen's schedule is a little bit busy. There's a lot of paperwork coming through. I may or may not be able to push past the paperwork end for us, if you desire.
Well, something that might expedite it a little bit is I've been sent by someone specifically. Florence himself.
What is your last name?
Belmont.
You see a grin grow across his face. Belmont! And
Victor
a card mage at that!
Victor just kind of smiles at this person in front of them all.
Sounds like you know a little bit more about what's going on.
Well, I would hope so. I take a lot of notes at our usually daily meetings.
Yeah.
And well, Florence is destroying my house of anything cloth related.
Oh. Wait. Why would he be doing that?
He's a friend of the family. It's a safe space.
But why would he be eating cloth?
Moth. He's a moth creature. Moth fae. He was cursed to take the form of a moth in the moonlight.
You see his eyes widen a little bit more. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, this is even more transgressions.
Yeah. Like not being able to return to your realm type of transgressions.
Okay. And proper paperwork was not filed on that.
No, it wasn't. So, considering this is an act of war,
Act of war, act of sedation, act of... Well, it's a good thing that you got me instead of one of my brothers. This would have taken ages to resolve through them. Okay, off to see Mother. And he starts walking towards the door and pulls out a silver key.
I look towards Balthazar.
Balthazar was like, you said you needed to go to the Raven Queen. I play poker with him.
Oh no. Don't do that.
We've played poker since we both were kids. It's fine. We both have a mutual respect.
There's too many tricks a card mage can pull.
I know.
How much have you lost to him?
Yeah, a few bottles of some good wine, but I've gotten a few in return, so.
Fair enough.
So, as he puts the key to the gateway, you see the gateway seem to reconstruct from a normal-sized door to what looks like grand doors to a hall, with silver inlay and a birch wood seeming to manifest. And he slowly pushes the doors open to what appears to be a court that seems to be somewhat in session, or at least at dinner.
Oh, we're directly in there, aren't we?
Showy.
I regret my decisions. This was way faster than I thought it was going to be. He mumbles quietly.
Hey, we're in for the journey now, though.
So you see the Fae walk through the portway and continue walking forward as if expecting you to follow behind. He's like, Mother, I do have some fun guests and news that is to be had.
Oh,
I am going to be following along.
Yep. In line behind Asenath.
So as you guys enter, it seems the portal slowly closes, revealing only the doors still open and the guards looking in and then kind of looking at each other and closing the doors from the other side. So what is it that you brought me? Who are these Mortals. Well, Mother, it seems Julian might have gotten rid of the successor through curse, and may or may not be trying to do a bit of a coup. He's also committing war crimes on the material plane despite sanctions against it. So, I'll let our lovely guests catch you up on it all. It seems like a mighty interesting story, and I want to hear the rest of it. So, who are you, and what do you bring to my court?
He would have bowed as he's being introduced and just remained silent while they were doing the talking.
Yeah, he has not offered your guys' names, but that's because your names haven't been given to him, and you guys don't know his name.
Yep. But
Right.
I'm just gauging how she stated that. I assume that there's no malice or otherwise behind that.
It seems more of a little bit frustrated that her dinner's being interrupted, but she seems to be open to the conversation.
And as long as it's not given as in, like, oh, I'm giving you over my name, I assume that me telling her my name is going to be fine.
Yes. As long as you're not giving her your name.
My name is Calder Belmont. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Belmont? Interesting.
If I may, I wish to know your honorifics. That way I may refer to you properly.
I am the Raven Queen. And depending on how well this interaction goes, depends on if you can know any other names.
Understood. Thank you for the information, my Raven Queen.
Your Raven Queen. Interesting. Belmont hasn't sat her and pledged to me before.
Not in that capacity. I've already been given to another, so to speak.
Yes.
Do not bane me right now, Mighty Mouse. This is a bad time.
Yes.
I don't know when that popped up, but I just saw it.
It just popped up. But she just kind of looks at you and is like, yes, the nice little contract that your ancestor made.
Yes.
Is there perhaps anything else you wish to reveal to me about you and your...
There's an unsanctioned incursion happening upon the material plane to take a location of a city as well as what seems to be a nexus point. As well as a full incursion upon Florence's domain.
So they're attacking Viridian Arbor. I see.
Yeah.
That is the quickest version of that information that I can give you, and I do have proof if it needs to be provided.
Proof might you have?
I captured one of the Reavers. It is currently in chains, probably not the happiest, but it's in a stasis.
She kind of looks around, trying to see where this thing is. Where, pray tell, might you have it?
He flips a card out from his wrist. So it's just between his two fingers.
She looks at you a moment before looking at her son and is like, so this is really why you brought him straight to us. You think you have a new pet. That's adorable, son. She looks back at you and is like, so you have a mind reaver who's connected with this entire thing. This would be quite interesting. If you wish, you may hand me the card and I can go with my top interrogator to confer that this information is true, and you may partake in the dinner festivities.
Wonderful, thank you. He goes ahead and will start offering the card, but then says, I would like to declare that within the card, and it is held in cold iron chains before you make contact with them.
Thankfully,
I just want to declare the intent is not there to do any harm here. The intent is just to let you know of that existence.
I appreciate that. Thankfully, us higher Fae only have to deal with it if it's a weapon, but smart to have done that.
Yes.
It'll keep the Mind Reaver from being able to break out of your card. Smart.
Yes.
She takes the card and slowly stands up, her black dress flowing down and the feathers on the back seeming to kind of relax back some before she reaches her hand out again and is like, please enjoy dinner and drink, and my servants will show you to your quarters. I will get with you as soon as we get done with interrogating the beast.
It's been a pleasure, and thank you for your hospitality.
And
Victor bows.
He'll do the same.
She gives a little nod of her head. And then she starts walking with one of her commanders and looks at her son and is like, you may play with your friends. We'll be back later. And her son slowly walks up to you guys and is like, well, that went better than it could have.
I was told it depends on the mood and the air.
Yes. She's been craving to go and change to the warrior. So, if anything, you might have just given my mother an excuse to sit here and go smack someone around.
That's actually pleasant, then, I would assume.
Potentially. Or she might just send out one of her commanders. Depends on how much of a threat she thinks that Julian is now. So, you guys have met Florence. Florence is cursed. You guys know someone.
Yes.
It wouldn't happen to be a god of sorts, would it?
Azeroth fails his check for concealing that, just immediately grinning and then looking down at the table.
So that means which god would it be? I know it wouldn't be Zini. He hasn't been involved in affairs on our plane for a very long time.
He is very nice, though.
A light bulb just explodes for Victor. It's like he already knew this, but he'd forgotten Zini was a god.
Yeah, the person that you went to learn how to shoot rays of light from.
Mm-hmm. And also the person that we went out and partied with for 2 weeks.
Yeah. There's not going to be an arc later where you guys find out what happened during those 2 weeks. Nope.
Yeah, I just said a bender. I didn't say how long the bender was going to last.
The Sanctum of Stability version of the Hangover, baby.
Yeah.
Or Or actually, there was a quest in Skyrim like that too.
The reason we don't know what happened in the blackout is Lycan's still crafting it on the side as a side game. I have no idea. I'm just making stuff up.
Well, I have a fair amount of it already planned,
Yeah.
but I'm leaving it to where when we go to do the flashback, in case we need to retroactively add a few things, I also have a little bit of room to wiggle.
Exactly. I totally get that.
But yes.
I will partake. I don't, unless there's something horrendous at the table.
It seems fairly normal. They do seem to pull out a little bit more food and kind of... It seems a little bit more like mortal food from probably about 800 to 1,000 years ago. Seems like these chefs haven't really been out in a while on the material plane.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems almost fancy, the meal does, but definitely
And
different time.
yeah, it's okay.
So, if it's not Zini...
No, like I said, he is very nice, though.
Would it be Lycos?
It is Lycos.
Oh.
Yes. I don't want to reveal our entire hand here.
We did contact him, so that's the only other heads up we had. So we've been noticing some problems ourselves happening.
Yeah.
And we've had
Well, after
complaints
we,
from citizens, and with your guys' information, it may confirm enough for us to legally act.
Yes, exactly. And, however odd it is, this isn't the only threat we're facing. This is the second threat we're facing.
But it's
We have-
the bigger of the two.
I would argue in this situation that's the smaller of the two. If this situation is resolved through legal means over here, and depending on what is needed for us to be done in response to that, it may actually be the smaller of the two issues. We'll see.
Oh, boy.
Now, it is harder to deal with considering it is cross-dimensional. And our side doesn't have a lot of people who understand what dimensional travel is.
Yes,
It falls on specific people to help.
those magics are not exactly studied much on your plane anymore.
No.
Probably for the best. Too many people coming in here and trying to demand to see my mother, and she kind of made a few rulings that mortals had to sit here and wait at least 3 years, so... It's a good thing you did contact Balthazar.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been fun.
During poker.
Apologies.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. If anything, I
mean-
got something far more valuable out of this. Entertainment. It's been quite boring around here.
Yeah. But yeah, I've pretty much got a portal to this realm in my backyard somewhere.
That is if you can use it. All we know is that there's a lunar stone above the above a lake on our side, the material plane side.
You see
Yeah.
one of his eyebrows raise. Interesting. So they went through and they set up a mass portal.
Yeah.
They're preparing for a full invasion soon.
I would assume so.
If you have a mind reaver, that means no doubt they have forces on the ground already.
They have replaced half the town with mimics.
Doppelgangers, but yes.
Placed half the town.
Yes. Either considering they're doppelgangers, what seems to be happening is they get kidnapped, brought to the other side, imitated, and then the person comes back and badly takes their place.
You see him pull a card out of his other wrist sleeve, and he sits here and throws it into the air, and it turns into a crow that flies out of the hall, and he's like, I will have to sit here and get somebody here. We may have to take a little bit of a walk.
I have another thing that I planned on requesting after the information was confirmed. Due to the situation, he shows the signet ring. Florence has sent me to take the contract up. And we would need possible assistance in getting the materials to get a champion made.
Yes, we can do that. I'm sure my guard contingent might be able to help us with that.
If I remember right, out of character, he was stating that he would give a favor in turn for this, if I remember right? He was stating that he was stating that owing a favor would be easier to collect on than getting back into his own home in the current state he's in, if I remember right. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
So. I just don't want to speak on his behalf if I can avoid it, because if this situation pans out, then maybe I don't have to owe a favor.
So, you're going to be under the lordship of Florence.
Yes. Taking up the Belmont seat and his council, or... I was told I was going to technically be a lord, just a lesser one. Not the same, obviously, not in the same office, but I don't know how that works. I assume you might have different words for it in
a lot of
any type of Fey languages, but...
A lot of the Fey lords like to think of themselves as princes, princesses, queens, kings. They like to have fanciful titles. But they are, in essence, just a lord. Technically, who Florence would be is the Moth King.
Yes.
But it seems like his brother Julian is trying to be the Moth King instead, which is going to be fun.
Politics.
Yes, especially since the title had to have been agreed upon by the other kings and queens, and then yada yada. It's a bunch of ceremony and history and legalese that went into it. Not usually my favorite. I'm more for the simple funs in life and enjoying every moment I can. And sometimes that means making a gamble a better deal.
Yeah, fellow man of the cards.
Oh, more than cards, dice, and more. I love probability. There are these weird people on your guys' plane now called mathematicians that love doing math on probability of success in it. Oh, I love them.
I was hearing something along the I was hearing something along the lines of, I just read Draven's message on the chat. I've heard of some of them and that are extremely into like higher end math. Not totally familiar with the subjects, but yeah, I've heard of them. Seem to be picking up for things.
Yes. So there is the factor that usually there's not multiple contracts or whatnot with multiple fae, especially for mortals, because usually that means that you have to make sure not to step on the toes of the ones that you've already made. So I will warn you there. But I do know that I would love to have a sort of apprentice of sorts.
That's an interesting proposition. I could see what you are entailing with that.
Because my only current apprentice for card magic is one of my Raven Knights, who does the investigations. He's a young upstart, and though I technically can't investigate this myself, even after this entire ordeal, could perhaps lend him out to you guys.
Well, that would be interesting. Let's say I'm interested in the proposition, but I don't want to shake on it yet, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's fine.
Considering you're a little bit more in tune with the mortal greetings and whatnot.
Yes. And it seems that you've been advised well. I don't know if that's because you're a Belmont or if Florence has told you, but it is wise not to shake just any fae's hand.
Yes. I assume with enough intent stated, it might be acceptable, but...
Yes, you have to make sure you have everything set up properly. Dot your I's, cross your T's. Make sure that there's no knife in the other hand from the person that you're shaking with.
Yeah, can understand that. Say a mortal being in the moth court will be rather straightforward as well. I have no intent on engaging in any type of stabbing in the back. Not my type. I'd rather be straightforward.
Yes.
Tactful, but straightforward.
Well, I will go meet with my guard captain and start setting up for what's to come. You guys enjoy yourself. Tonight has gotten so interesting. I'm glad I didn't skip out on the game. You guys enjoy yourselves. I'll hurry back. And with that, we should go to break. Use the bathroom, grab some water, take your meds, whatever you need to do. We'll be back in 10 to 15 minutes.